Ready. Okay, welcome all to the December 4th, 2024 meeting of the Dudley Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners. I have to advise everyone that this meeting is being recorded. We start every meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Acceptance of minutes from November 6th.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as written for November 5th.
Second that, Mr.
Was
Chairman.
the 5th?
Is it the 5th?
It says 6th on the
I think it
agenda.
was. Oh, hang on.
Whatever.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes from last meeting.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 16B Schofield Ave. That's you. Okay. Please sign the register on the desk there, just to, for the ease of keeping minutes.
All right. The problem I got is with the billing. I wasn't getting my bills, and I ended up having to pay a demand, but we'll get beyond that. I was running around 900 units, and all of a sudden we went 1,000, 1,000, 1,300, 1,900. So the last bill was for 1,900, so, you know I don't have a problem. I had a water heater installed, but that was in July. And they came and read the meter yesterday, and the meter was 5-something. So I'm using 10.5 gallons a day. So where do we get 1,900? So I'm disputing the bill, I guess that's why I'm here.
Okay,
And they changed the meter, by the way.
okay.
So like I say, it went 1,000, 1,000, 800, 1,300, 1,900. 2 people, 1 toilet. I know the drill, I've been on the board, so, anyway. That's all I can tell you. So I'm disputing the bill.
Okay.
I know you want to argue with me. I can
don't
tell.
argue with you.
You're already giving me the look, dude. Go ahead, tell me what you think.
I think meters do not run faster. They typically run slower.
I understand, I've been explaining that, and like I said, I was on the board for 3 years, I know the drill, all right? So how do you explain it went from 8 to 13 to 19?
Well, it went from, you've done 13 before, you've done 1,000 a couple times before in the private.
True, it went 1,000, 1,800,
Actually, it's when 1,000, 1,000, 900, 900, 1,300, 800, 800, 900, 1,300, 1,900.
all right, so you're going way back.
Yes.
I'm only talking about this year.
I don't know what's happened in the house.
When it used to run a lot more, I used to work full-time, I'm retired, so is my wife.
Okay, and you
So
told,
I don't take a shower 7 days a week like I did when I worked construction.
okay, and you told the tech who came in that your wife has been home more and doing more around the house and doing other things. My concern is, looking at your usage per hour, is that you do have a unit in there, something, that uses,
The water heater, when you take a shower, would be the largest use in my house.
you typically throw,
Unless I wash my lawnmower, that's about it.
you're using, I have from the new meter, during every hour, you're averaging, this is broken down into cubic. You're using roughly about 10-plus cubic yards a day.
A day,
Yes.
right, you said an hour.
Timmy, when he did this, he used it in cubic feet.
So if I'm only using 10 gallons a day, you gotta figure it out, that was 53 days.
You're not using
and it
10
was
gallons a day. I'm
500 to
saying
something.
10 cubic feet,
Can I finish?
75 gallons a day.
53 days, it was 500 and something. He just read the meter yesterday. I was there when he read it. There's no leak in the cellar. Timmy's been in there. You guys know me. This isn't, you know.
We don't
I'm
know
not
if you've
running a
had,
car wash.
we don't know if you've had a leaky toilet in there. We don't know what else you've done. You said you had to change a water heater. What was
I
wrong with
changed
the,
the water heater on July 23rd
why did you have to change a water heater?
because I went from a 60-gallon gas to 30 gallons electric, and it's none of your business, to be honest with you.
Well, actually it is, because you're disputing the water use, and the water goes through the water heater. So if there was a
It
problem.
goes through the meter first.
Yes.
So
So
the
you
water
said
heater's got nothing
you've
to
said
do
you've
with
been on the
anything.
board
All it
before.
does is store water and contain it and keep it warm. So I understand where you're going, but there's nothing there.
Okay.
It filled
So-
it up and that was
so
it.
you
It
said
filled
you've
it
been on
up
the board-
once and then it
You've been on
maintains
the board
it.
before. You understand, we've gone through this while you've been on the board, is that a meter does not run faster. Meter.
No, that's
it
a
runs
theory.
slower.
That's a theory.
A theory. You have to have
Oh,
water.
that's a proven fact that they all, did you have my meter tested?
No, you have to approve that, because if it's wrong, if we're,
Did you have my meter tested?
you have to approve it, having it tested, because it costs $50,
Oh, so you want me to pay $50?
because you're gonna use our time and effort.
I'll tell you what, we'll just end this right now. I'll pay the bill, okay? And if I have a problem with it, I'll be back. All right?
You're more than welcome to come back.
No, I'll come back, because, you know, you're not listening to me, you're just telling me what it says on a computer.
I'm not telling you what it says on
Which pays nothing out to me, all right? How do you go, excuse me, I'm a little dry. How do you go from 800, all right, to 900, to 1,300, to 1,900? It went 900,
Well, you just,
13, 19?
I just asked you a specific question on what happened with the water heater. You said it's none of my business what happens in the house.
That's correct. I changed
so-
the water heater. I had a new one
I do not
installed.
know how you live or what's changed in that quarter or anything else. What I do know is 1,900 cubic feet went through that meter.
That's what you say. You don't know that. You don't know that. Why did you change the meter?
He has it.
Because it was due. It didn't read last time from the radio.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna buy your explanation, okay? But all I'm gonna tell you is this. You guys came and changed the meter, and then it went to 1,900,
No, it was 1,900 before that,
all right? On the old meter?
on the old meter.
That's the old meter reading?
That's the old meter reading.
Okay, there you go. What's that telling you? Why'd you change it? Because it was good?
Because it was due. They typically.
Okay. So they
Because-
typically slow down. I know you're gonna tell me that, typically slow down. I went through this 3 years on the board.
If you have all the answers for me, I don't know why you're asking questions.
I'm telling you what happened on my end. There's no leak, there's no toilet running, there's none of that. All right? So what you're telling me is, it doesn't matter, what you're saying to me, sir, is this: it doesn't matter what I say, you're gonna pay. That's what you're
What I'm
telling me
saying is
now.
if you keep-
So no, let's
No, no,
end
no.
this, we'll end this
You're trying to act-
conversation.
No.
You can watch the tape and you can talk about it later, okay? I'll
I'm
pay
trying
the
to
bill, all right?
If you just
And
came
that's
here
the
to
end
argue,
of it.
that's fine.
I don't need any more
What
BS.
I'm trying to explain to you is, if you could explain and say the water heater exploded and we had an excess amount of water come out of it for 700 cubic feet,
Oh, you'd give it to me for free?
no, but you wouldn't, typically the board has abated the sewer and put it back to the proper tier that you usually build in.
Whatever. I'm done with you. When I saw you pull in, I says, I know you're gonna argue with me. I knew
not
right
arguing
off
with you.
that no one would
Fred,
say anything
this-
but you.
This is a meeting of the water and sewer. You know the routine.
I know the routine.
This is a
I know
meeting
you
of
would
our.
argue with me.
This is a meeting of our board. He is-
Okay, but
he
nobody's
is our
got anything to
full-time
say with
person.
him.
We're not gonna argue. If you wanna have a conversation, fine, but this hasn't been a conversation. You've just thrown accusation after accusation.
What's the accusation, sir?
A meter runs by water flow. You know that.
I agree.
It's not electric.
I
So
agree.
if water goes through it,
I agree.
then it registers. If nothing moves, if no water moves, that meter doesn't move.
Okay. So he just told you I'm using 10 gallons a day.
No, I just said you used
10
10
cubic feet.
cubic feet, that's 75.
Cubic
gallons.
feet,
Roughly.
a cubic foot is about 7.5 gallons.
Okay.
So it's about 75 gallons.
Whatever it is.
So
I'm just telling you, I'm not using that much water to get to 19. It doesn't add up. All right? It doesn't add up. It's not like I left and somebody turned the faucet on and they ran my hose to the neighbor. all right? So what I'm telling you, sir, is this: it does not add up. That's why I'm here to disagree with it, but I can see that disagreeing with you guys isn't getting me anywhere, because you don't want to hear anything about it. You just want me to pay. Okay, I'll pay.
Back as the billing go.
All right, does that make everybody happy now?
No, what we're trying to say is if you can give a reasonable explanation of what happened in the house, they typically abate it back to the tier that you typically build on.
Look, at this point in
And
time,
you don't
at
have-
this point in time, sir, I'm gonna pay the bill, okay? And we're gonna call it a day. And we'll see what happens with the next bill. Now, hopefully, the bill will make it to my house, all
That
right?
has nothing to do with our department.
It starts with your department, all right?
We put it in
And
the mail, it
ends-
goes to the mail.
And it ends in West Dudley, okay? When they get the bills and they stuff them, they have nothing to do with the bill. I was told that the problem, me not getting my bill, was West Dudley. And it wasn't. It was on the second floor of the building. So, I got it straightened out.
Right now, just so you know, you're projected to be at 1,100 this time.
Whatever. Not 19.
I
You're
don't-
trying to tell me it's 19. If I had a big leak, I would say, okay, I agree. My toilet was running, it ran for a week and a half, 2 weeks, every 6 minutes, I would agree. But nothing happened. All right? So, have a nice day.
Okay. Well, I hope the next one's a little bit better.
Welcome back.
Back before the leave, did it go?
Okay, 147 Dudley Oxford Road. Bill dispute, high usage.
Yeah, it's right there.
I can't see my glasses.
Hey, ma'am, if you could just sign the roster there, that helps with the keeping of minutes.
Sure. After that, I'm going to feel a little
Oh.
funny talking.
Oh, did I? Okay, all right. I reversed them, but that's fine. We'll take it. Go ahead.
I have a similar situation, I think, as
What's your name, ma'am?
my name is Cynthia Howard, or Cindy, and my husband's here with me as well, James. We own a property since 2010 at 147 Dudley Oxford Road.
Okay.
We have, for most of those years, have been sending money in automatically so that when it's time, the quarter ends, most of the bill or all of the bill has been paid, so I don't get a lump sum every quarter. We are in the process of selling our home, and so there were 2 other tenants in the property who left, one in January and one in May. But the quarter that we received the read date of July 1st, it shows $13,400 in the usage. So I got a $2,000 extra bill, approximately, and we don't understand that. So when I got the bill, we called your department and had somebody come out and look. My husband was part of that. The person went around the property to see if they could hear anything leaking or see anything leaking, and did not find anything. They changed the meter at the time. It seems to have gone back to the old estimate or actual reading. After that, I don't have a complete history report here. We had a plumber come as well immediately after the bill to walk around the property too and hunt for any kind of leakage. Could not find anything. So normally I have on my list 4,300, 4,600, 4,900, and then that one quarter 13,400. And so we do not understand at all why it was like that. So that's why I'm contesting that to see if there's anything that we can do about it. I did pay the bill. there is one other issue with it. It's that it's already transferred to supposedly the new buyer of the property, who is, the actual history shows as Christian Rivera. Christian Rivera has not completed the process of closing on the property yet, so it should still be my bill, which I did call
Unfortunately,
the office and say.
when we get a final, they give us the information, we change over the information to the new owner,
Yeah,
and it had already been changed over at that point. Normally, the attorneys will call us if anything falls through. That's why it was in Christian's name, is because first knowing was her phone call that the purchase did not go through.
okay.
Because we just go by what they give
The
us.
purchase, yeah, okay, so the,
They give us a closing date, and we do the final, we change everything over to the new owner for the closing date,
Right.
unfortunately.
and then they gave the closing date, and then it didn't happen.
Correct.
The closing date was supposed to be October 4th, and it still hasn't happened.
Right, and unfortunately, nobody
Yeah,
communicates that to
yeah.
us until I spoke with you.
Right,
And that's why your history shows his name.
But I do believe that we're still paying automatically on
Then
a,
they're gonna need to reorder another final,
who's they?
whoever your attorney.
attorney.
Your
Attorney, okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so what's the,
When did you vacate the property?
We haven't totally vacated, well, there's 3 houses on the property. So we've been mostly gone from the building, not using any water for at least 2 or 3 months. And the other people, one was gone in May and the other was gone in January.
Okay, because as late as, for instance, September 25th through 28th, you used 343 gallons in the house, 221 gallons, 316 gallons, and 323 gallons. I don't know what, if that's
the gallons or cubic feet?
That's gallons.
Okay.
Would that be like, how much you would use to do some laundry?
Not even
High
close.
efficiency machine or just a regular machine?
Washing machine?
Yeah, is it, the high efficiencies are like 12 gallon, the older ones are 40 to 50 gallons?
Yeah,
That fill
That's a
up.
Wednesday to a Saturday.
300 gallons is a lot more than a lot of laundry.
I
That's a
have
lot.
I have no idea then.
And then right now randomly, it's sporadic usage after 10/11, so the 11th of October. But then the following day, there is 59 gallons, then 39 gallons, 35, 27, then 8, then no usage, then a 3 gallon someplace, which I could count for maybe somebody going and cleaning and whatnot. Then randomly, there's another 38 gallons when nobody's been there. The problem is also on the previous bill, not the 13,000 one. Previous was estimated because
Right.
it didn't read, so we just take an average and usually go 1 tick higher, just in case not to hit if somebody's budgeting, just in case we're off. So there could have been an ongoing leak from this time, that quarter, into the next quarter when we had the actual reading. So
So do you have an actual reading for the last quarter?
the actual reading as of when used 1,400 gallons, we did a read on 8/28, I think that was a final, must have been.
Yeah. Yes, that's what it says here.
Yeah.
Yep. So if nobody's really been there using it, that's extremely high, especially if it's just you and your husband, the demographic of it. I wouldn't typically think you're using that much in a span of a month and a half.
Sure, so what do we need to do about that?
First of all, do you have outside faucets that are still active, toilets that are still active, like they're on? If you're not using the house and nobody's using the house, it's advisable to start shutting some things down so that you don't have surprises with the fill valves failing, things like that. And keep in contact with Jen on we can read, a certain amount of time and see how you're doing, see if there's been an improvement or not. And it could be something else going on that we're not aware of, or somebody's in there doing something that nobody's aware of. I don't know.
No,
But you gotta at least try a few things to start, pinning it down.
This is the old Tobin Farm
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
Okay,
From my understanding is you have the main house, and you have a line that comes out of the main house in the ground into the back barn and apartments. The hard part is if you have a leak in that underground line from building A to building B, there's no way you're gonna hear or do that anywhere in the house. You'd have to isolate. Of course, if you turn off the ball valve before the meter, you shouldn't have any usage no matter what.
Well, we certainly don't want to make the new buyer have a problem either when,
No.
so who is it that can help us discover what's going on here?
We have a sounder that we'd be able to attach to the piping or the hose and hear if water is running. The difficult part is, once it goes underground, to find out where that is. Typically, when I've seen this high of usage, it's a toilet that's completely failed, or the flapper just letting it run. And it's usually in the one you say that nobody uses and nobody's been in there for months, and that's what's gotten most people.
Okay.
In my opinion is, you're during the period that we had to estimate, is probably when your leak started. But that said is, during the previous 2 or 3 years, how many people have lived there? Is it
11.
11, okay. So I can take that as the usage typically.
If people live in the apartment in the back
That's-
house, the back part,
They were,
recently,
not since January.
and there's water still going to that building with,
Well, I didn't know we should be shutting it off.
well, I mean, there's heating systems too that require water.
Yes.
I don't know what you have, but I'm just saying, you know, we can try to, there should be old copper pipe in there. I don't know if they had a plastic for that house, or it's still copper. Copper is more sensitive to sound, we can hear them a little bit better.
Who's we? Who's,
Well, the water department, we can listen on certain pipes, certain
Okay.
ways, or try to sound it with a device, but can't guarantee, but we might be able to pick something up. But I don't know what kind of plumbing you have in there.
George,
Plastic is not conducive.
George, can you get out there and just check the place out? And
Yeah. I'll take a look, I'll come out there with Brian or whatever, and we'll take a look at it and see what we can do.
let me,
Do you have a ball valve to the back building? And what type of heating unit is in the back building?
it's oil.
It's oil.
You
The
can-
actual unit.
You can get along for a little while without it, for like a day or something like that, in warmer weather, and we can shut it down or, you know, we could play around a little bit and see what's going on. But
Could I ask you a question? Say there is an underground leak in the pipe between the house we lived in and the back house.
Yes,
We didn't know about that. We're responsible for that leak?
yes, you would be.
because it went through your meter.
And the tricky.
I've had that happen to me, not from building to building, but a running toilet, and
Yeah.
usually the ground will indicate in the wind, like if it's snowing out tonight, tomorrow, light thing of snow, anything that comes up with water will show. It'll be like a wet area or an area that's, you can see that's dry, has no snow on it. That's like one of the first easy steps to look. This would be the
I
first.
really would appreciate your support in this because,
We'll come out and see what we can do to help you. We can.
I'm confident there's a leak in there someplace, and sometimes you can put the tabs in the toilets and it will show. The other thing, the indicator, if you have a toilet that has stains in it, typically where it shows where a stream is, that's because it's been running and it's leaving sediment and staining there.
shall we bring you through the houses to look?
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll make an appointment to go and do that?
Yeah, see if I can round up a few of us to go cover some more, cover areas in there and
Okay.
Yeah,
try to help you out.
I can set that up with you.
yeah.
Whenever you're available,
Yeah, we'll set it up.
Unfortunately, I think you have, there's something significant leaking in your house, in one of the things. And
How long is the line from the house to the other house?
Oh, it's gonna be long.
no,
A couple hundred feet?
no, just maybe 100 feet if it goes foundation to foundation, I think.
Like I said, take a little walk in the light
Across the
dusty
driveway,
snow
right?
and see if you can see anything in that line that goes.
Is
Just-
that?
That'll be a good
this-
indication right there.
How much snow are we supposed to get
Inch maybe?
tonight?
I'm hearing 3, so I'm gonna go with 3.
Okay.
And I'm optimistic we're not gonna get any, it's gonna be rain. So,
Plan on one.
somewhere between there.
I'm hoping for rain.
All right.
Yeah, it's,
So we're stuck with this bill?
Well, it does, sorry, Jim.
we need to find out what it is first.
Okay.
For instance, because typically what's happened is, like I tried to explain previously, is that if it went through your toilet, it's come back through the sewer, and we've gotten charged over in Webster for it. If for some reason it's been a leak outside, what the board's previously done is bill you in the appropriate tier that you're usually billed in. So, say for instance, it was just you two, I would assume that you'd be in tier 1. But if you had a leak and your water heater burst and it tripled your bill, you still have to pay for the water, unfortunately, but you would be charged at the tier that you typically use it at, not at the tier that is used as a deterrent for discretionary water use. So it's the most reasonable thing that we can do, but still being responsible to the system.
Okay, all right. Wow.
We'll work with you.
So,
Call me tomorrow morning, please, and I will set up a time.
All right. I
Next week it's
appreciate it.
getting a little warmer, so maybe we have a good time next week.
they're gonna be closing and everything else.
Yeah.
I would ask the board to vote to allow us to put them in the appropriate tier once we find out what it is. So they don't have to come back and ask you again, because I assume if you close, you're moving?
So,
Yeah. So that way they don't have to come back.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that a motion.
Okay, is there a second?
So what's the actual motion?
So allow the department,
Abate the
George
bill
or
to the
me
tier
or
1 for use.
Tier 1 or tier
Tier,
2? Yeah,
I'll second that.
yeah. Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, 4-0, okay. So we'll work with you, try to get it to the,
I appreciate that very much, everybody. Thank you.
thank you.
do you understand how that works, Sean? Actually, you've been on that side of it too, so. Okay, now we'll go back to
Gentlemen.
the previous one, 135 Center Road.
Scott did that on purpose, you know.
I don't know anybody sitting here.
Come on now, I know what 135 Center Road is. Yeah.
Chairman, I'm going to excuse myself from the vote, being a trustee of the church.
Okay.
Out of curiosity for address, I don't live in town, I just am representing the church.
That's
You want
fine, doesn't matter.
That's fine.
my- I assume you have the records from the church over the last year for water usage?
Yes,
And I assume you can see that we are fairly consistent, and then 1 quarter last year, we went very high. And at that time, we found we had a problem with some leaks in the church, fixed them, and we paid that bill and moved along. And what you'll see recently, we had an outrageously high bill where we found we had a toilet in a non-used
Used
area of the church that you can't even hear the pipes. And once we found out, we've shut that toilet off, and we are going to probably remove the toilet. But that's not your problem, that's what we're gonna do, because we don't wanna live through this again.
Excuse me, could I get
And
his first
That,
Oh, I'm Bob Kirsting,
name? Thank you.
and this is Pastor John White, the pastor of the church. I'm the moderator of the church, he's the pastor.
I know who he is, I apologize. but-
Everybody knows, what am I saying? Everybody knows him.
Thank you.
And the bottom line is, we know it was a leaky toilet.
Yep.
We know that this is on us, on some level, but on the other hand, we are a church that's running a $30,000 a year deficit right now, and any relief we could get around this bill, because we didn't do it on purpose, is what we came looking for. And I listened to what I was hearing, if it is a possibility to adjust our water bill to be back to the normal tier of what we pay, That sounded like what we were hoping for when we came.
In all honesty, that's the only thing I can recommend. Well, I
I-
appreciate your financial
and-
situation.
But no, that's
I
what I'm
can't-
asking, that's what
I
we're
can't-
asking for, we're just saying if that's a possibility.
Just for, to be proper, I was there the day that the guys went in and changed the meter, and I put the blue tabs in the toilets, and I saw where the leak was.
Yeah,
So I, just to be open and so that everybody's aware,
And I would just add that I was so appreciative of you, Scott, and the conversation that we had, helping me understand how a running toilet like that could fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool. I mean, shocked me.
Yeah,
But,
it's
A
usually the
toilet
one that
uses-
you think that's not the problem, that nobody
Yeah.
uses.
toilet
is
will
the
use a lot of
absolute
water
honest
if it's running, just running over the
Yep.
tube.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're there, and God, I don't want to throw us under the bus. The reality is, I know this was a problem in the church. I know we use the water. I know it went through the sewer system. And so what we're not here, that's why when I saw this was disputing, I'm not disputing that. That was not our intention. It was merely to ask if there's any relief we could have because of this unique and bizarre circumstance. And that's what we came here looking for, is if relief is a possibility.
As Brian stated, that
What,
I'm
so,
sorry.
Tom, if you recuse yourself, you
yeah,
cannot
you,
speak.
actually, you should probably
You should be leaving the
leave the
room.
table. So That's when you recuse. Yeah.
Technically, you're supposed to.
Chief Karlowic, please.
Technically, you're supposed to.
Although
leave
what
the
I
room.
will say is this entire problem was caused by our trustees.
Oh, stop.
Well, I won't, I can't.
I'm kidding.
I can't say nothing. I was gonna say something.
Yep.
You'll say it to me later. I know, oh, yeah, I'll hear about that comment.
Okay,
No, you
all right,
can
so in
basically
any
do
case,
it. It went
let's
through.
get back on track here. So what was the actual usage?
10,800 cubic feet.
Extraordinarily high.
So they average, besides the other one that you had previously said that there was an issue that you found, they average under 1,000 typically, 1,000. They haven't gone over it during their regular usage, so.
Yeah, and I know it's a church, they, big usages, surprise Sunday. And then, I think Tuesday night and Thursday night, they have stuff going on in the building.
Yeah.
Just,
And apparently the Sunday before Thanksgiving,
Saturday before Thanksgiving?
Sunday.
Sunday. Really?
I have no idea.
I wasn't there. It's one of the few Sundays I missed that Sunday. I
no,
was in
it's just,
London. Leave me alone.
the new meters will tell us right down to the hour what water is
wait.
It was a
used.
lot that day,
14,000?
yeah.
That sounds like somebody turned that toilet back on.
That sounds like someone left the
water
faucet running.
running.
13
consistent
to
with that.
1,400 is somebody leaving a faucet running.
Yes.
We had a upset landlord, not a landlord, a tenant, previously got a landlord for that,
Ooh, that's cold.
yes.
The Sunday before Thanksgiving, I mean.
It was somebody maybe turned the toilet on to be able to use it because you had a.
That's what I'm wondering.
but-
That's something, okay, so we have this bill, and we're gonna go back and check that ASAP to find out what's going on, to see if somebody turned something on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had, and actually, it does, when we changed it, there is a carryover into the next month. So there's another unexpected 1,300 there too.
Because it had already, we did the reading in October.
Right.
You found this problem
Yes.
in November, so we
When we-
still have October to November.
Right,
that
when we
is
got the
going
bill,
on.
that's when we
Correct.
started looking.
Correct.
That's when we realized there was a problem, yeah.
So there's already been about a month to a month and a half
Oh,
as well.
So,
So I
Go
would,
ahead.
I would entertain putting a motion on the floor that we take this current bill that's in dispute, put it to the appropriate tier that they normally are, and then I would make the motion that we do it for the next quarter as well, since we've already identified it, we have
Yeah.
the data.
okay. The motion's been made, is there a second? Second, okay. Any further discussion?
I'd fix your toilet.
No, all in favor?
I'm gonna shut it off and I'm gonna shut it off and take the handle off, in case somebody decided, oh, I'll use this toilet,
opposed?
turned it on.
Oh, bottom, okay.
That's what I mean.
All right, so,
So
we'll,
please put a telephone number for somebody that I can contact with the new amount of this bill that we're
Okay,
talking about.
I'll put an asterisk by mine,
That's fine, thank you,
because
I will follow back up.
I'm the moderator, but I'm also the assistant treasurer, so I can be sure the treasurer knows what to write a check for.
So I won't forget your name.
There you go.
And I'm a fairly decent
He's also
pastor, but we don't let me deal with the
retired.
money at all.
I got that right.
In all
yeah.
honesty, the most prudent thing is so you don't lose a toilet is you can get a cheap enough one at Home Depot for a couple hundred.
That's what we need to do. I don't want to replace the guts on this 800-year-old toilet. We want to pull it out. We're actually, Chris and I were having a conversation about whether we even need a toilet back there and whether we might want to disconnect stuff and use the space differently. But either way, we have to do something about this
That discussion's
toilet.
been
That
going on
said
for
is-
years.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly, Scott, exactly.
If you have multiple toilets and they're all of the same era, I would look at them all, because if it happens with one, it's gonna happen with
Yes.
another
Well,
one.
actually, all
So-
our other toilets are in the new wing that was built more recently. This is the part of the church that is original to the last rebuild, which is very old. And so those
vote's
toilets, that
been
one is
taken, you're all
especially
set.
old compared to the other ones.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll figure out and the tiers run, as I explained before, whether it's 4, 8 to 16?
Yeah.
0 to 1,000,
Excuse me.
1,100 to 4,000, and then 4,000
No, I'm
to-
talking the amount.
Oh,
Yeah, I read the bill. I know what the tiers are. That's why.
You're way into the third tier.
I was gonna do it. I was doing this as I'm reading that bill.
That's $16 or $18 per cube.
Yeah.
Per 100 cubic
Double.
feet
Yeah.
will cut down to, I think it's like 30%.
Yeah, it will
that.
make a huge difference. It will make a huge difference. Thank you.
Okay.
Deeply grateful, thank
Yeah,
you all
thank you
for
all.
what you do.
And I
Yeah.
look forward to hearing from you.
Yes, you'll hear from me tomorrow.
Bob,
Thank you.
talk to Chris and have, part of Jason's jobs is to check that.
Okay, take care of that
Yeah.
on the side. Okay,
Thank you, gentlemen.
okay.
take a nap.
Tie and bond correspondence.
So you skipped over the one that actually is good, that you skipped over, the connect to water sewer, to water, permission to tie in,
Oh,
number
Not
7?
here.
Correct.
Oh.
And I wanted to explain to you why, the closing has been pushed off.
okay,
So it was the new owner that was gonna be coming to ask for permission, and where they don't own it yet, they're holding off till the actual sale will go through. Just so you know, it will be coming.
all right. Tie and bond correspondence. So
Just the 2 emails that I sent you,
we got 2, one was the
pressure study at Bates
pressure
Road,
study for Bates Road.
and then the amendment to the PFAS construction phase engineering agreement.
Okay. So I believe you have copies of them.
I have,
I did read through them.
but I
Again,
printed
forgot my
one hard
tablet, so-
copy so that you'd have
One of them was looking for action from us, wasn't it?
the PFAS amendment, I believe.
Amendment, he was looking for something?
Yes. That's this one here.
Yeah. Yeah, this would be
Because
SRO.
of the, we did significant increases on the job. Just the added engineering and added oversight and that sort of, I believe that's what most of it is.
Yeah, he's looking to increase the construction administration to 56,000. And it's all covered in the contingency.
Right. We do have to pay that back, but there is money in the loan, in the,
That's work we requested of them, I guess, right?
yes. There was the add-ons for the platform around the bag filter.
Safety platform.
The change in the pumps. So it's all, we increased the project. They continued to do their engineering functions. there was no adjustment in that contract, and that's what they're saying here. Does that sound about normal? I don't know.
If you add scope, typically, yeah.
And to me, it doesn't seem
There was additional work, it's more
Oh.
CA, so.
out, not unusual. So I guess I'd look for a,
I'll make a motion that we increase the, how did he word it? We increase the amendment for the PFAS construction with tie and bond in the amount of $56,000 as outlined by Jeff.
yes. Yep. 56,000.
Second that, Mr. Chairman?
Okay, go ahead.
It has task 1 at 56 and has task 2 at 11.
Is there a different total there?
I believe it was 56 was 11.
The amendment, all right, I'll modify my motion then.
No, fees, 56,000. Oh, and then 11,000.
Yeah, so we'll just use that number because that's what it's going to, right?
It's increasing from 5. The amendment.
Oh, I see what he's doing. He's got this plus this.
Okay, so it's 67,000. Fee, yeah, task 156
And task 2 is 11.
and 11, yes. So the total is 67,000.
So I'll make a motion that we increase the construction administration for PFAS construction, 67,000.
I'll second that one, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Unanimous 4-0.
We did have a motion on the floor for 56, do we need to
No.
cancel that?
He amended his.
He
Yeah, I
amended
amended
he amended it.
Yeah.
Increased. Okay. And the second one was the
Pressure study.
pressure study.
That's a required DEP requirement for us to fulfill, to have them give DEP an idea of what we're due to address that pressure problems in the areas like Bates Road, Airport Road, Hall Road and that. So Jeff's working on that. He has some ideas to put some kind of booster pump station down towards the bottom of the hill. And then in the future, we're looking at maybe some kind of elevated tank out by Bates Tank now, maybe off towards the school, and maybe directed in 2 different directions with the main. But that's down the line. But that's something needed also for storage redundancy that we don't really have yet.
Okay, I know, I did get a call from our missing commissioner, and he had some concerns, and he wanted to see if we could get competing bids, to see if we're getting the most bang for the buck on this.
How is this gonna get funded?
That right now, that has to be, right now, we don't have, we'd have to be able to fund it in the budget, or it would have to go to
Tell me.
town meeting. I know
Do we have an engineering?
there's a special town meeting coming up in
February 10th.
February.
If we were to put the engineering design out to bid, do we have like a white paper or a basic specification of what we're looking for? Or is it
This is actually, no, it's actually come up with his plan. Somebody may come up with another plan. You know, he knows our system where others don't, so
No, what
we'd have to.
I'm looking for is, like, if you went out to, like, what are we asking another contractor to bid?
That's the problem, we
To
don't.
bid to increase the standing pressure up in that area is what, about?
Do we have a?
8 pounds going down Bates Road, drops down, goes up about 30 down Airport Road, maybe it points down to 60, and then 32 around the Lions Road area.
Is there a deficiency on the sanitary inspection?
Yes.
So I would say that, I guess the way to put it out there is, we're looking for an engineering firm to present a proposal to design to fix this deficiency. just so that there's some
He
level
seems,
of consistency.
The current deadline to have some sort of plan in place or an idea and give it to DEP is December 31st.
Yeah, we have to have something submitted to them anyway. It may not have to be a major thing.
Not fixed, but some sort of,
Engineered plan or plan that the engineers are working on, so that we're doing something.
But we're not gonna get the plan by
no.
them, so.
this would most likely satisfy them that
This
we're
would
moving.
satisfy
Yeah, this
them
will
that
satisfy
we're
them, we can
moving
move
forward.
on to an
I get it.
engineered, a bidding thing later.
But if we put it out for bid, I would think that would
Yeah, right.
satisfy them that we're doing something.
Also, currently in the budget, in our engineering line item, we still have $96,000.
Was what, 45,000 or something for that plan?
45,000, yes, and they say the final report will be submitted in May by their timeline.
So we'd be looking for something more modified, shorter, just to say that we're working on this, the engineers have it, they're working on it. That's, I think that'll satisfy DEP, at least to get us to that deadline. That's what our goal is right now.
So what's the,
I don't know, do we wanna put it out there, see if we can get a,
Do you think DEP would be satisfied if we're moving forward with a bid for, or does it need to be something more concrete?
Probably need a little bit more to them, what the plan's looking like, what they want to do. So he already has something figured out, I think, to satisfy that.
I would think DEP, if we're going through the process, okay, we're gonna put it out for bid, what's it gonna cost us to fix the problem? They gotta accept that. I mean,
The exact request from them is submit a corrective action plan detailing how the low-pressure areas and distribution system will be increased to a minimum of 35 PSI under normal flow conditions and not fall below 20 PSI at any time, include anticipated time for completion.
That's a little more involved.
So
but we're not gonna have that fix-all solution.
No, no,
Until May.
no.
So we're not gonna answer their question anyways.
Well, they're gonna say what his looking at it is going in the direction, the right direction to correct it. More of an engineer's setup, so it'll probably satisfy what they're looking for the time being.
I tend to agree. But
It's a big chunk of change.
yes, it is.
I don't see why us going out for bid for the engineering.
Let me talk to Faulkner tomorrow and see if there's a way I can satisfy the DEP and a little bit better on that and cut it down to some basic explanation or something. I mean, he's dealt with this before, he says, so I don't know, I mean, I can ask him and see if, unless he says, no, that's not gonna satisfy him.
I'm not concerned so much about the bottom line amount. I'm concerned more about, are we being properly, I don't know the right words to use.
Represented?
Yeah, they're,
typically, DEP likes to see you, regardless of anything else, moving forward in a situation. They understand timelines and constraints. This would possibly act as a corrective action plan where we're at least moving forward with a design and whatnot.
that's what I tend to agree with.
The hard part is gonna be, the next part of this was, they wanted it fixed within a year, actually a year and a half at the time, we had a little bit of extension for this one. Which, that's the part I don't see possible with everything else that's going on, but they usually work with you as long as you're moving in a positive direction.
Yeah.
If we don't show them that we're moving in a positive direction, that's when we don't wanna run against them.
But would not we would be in a positive direction by putting it out for bid, knowing,
Yeah, but
We should have done that months ago. When did we get the sanitary survey? When did we get the findings for the sanitary survey?
April,
April. It's now December,
the original,
to be honest. What have we done?
We had a long list of stuff to work on. That was just one of the
But
bunch.
that's one of many, but I don't know. I tend to agree. I think we need to move. But what's the... If folks want to wait, we'll wait. If, personally, I believe we need to keep moving forward.
And what do we have left in engineering?
96.
Is there anything else out there before the end of the fiscal year that's gonna chew into that? Because this is gonna take more than 50%.
4 log.
I'm sorry, what's that?
4 log. The next thing on the
Agenda.
But that will,
So, Mr. Chairman, can we
that-
table this until we discuss item number 9 on the agenda and come back to it?
we can do that.
At least we have all our information.
okay.
So the 4 log, the next, as I understand it, the transmission line of raw water from the Main Street Station, Pump 8, to the treatment plant is going to need to have chlorine added.
It doesn't need it.
Huh?
It doesn't need
need it.
to. The problem is that we've had four coliform hits while we've been active, and one when we went to raw, and just to waste, excuse me, not to raw, to waste, when we tested it, we had an E. coli in one of them. If the coliform isn't a big deal, technically coming out of the wells.
It's raw water,
You just
yeah.
have to watch out for it. They want to make sure that you know what's coming out of your wells.
Right.
E. coli, we're doing a tier 1 boil, we're doing boil orders.
Yeah.
And if we have 4 log, we're safe. We don't have to do anything, we not ignore it, but there's no concern
Because
by,
we're chlorinating it before
Chlorinating to that.
before it transmits across town.
and it's not as just as, if we were in the previous way, pre-PFAS, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because we're not running through a GAC and other filter bags. At this point, we're blending in, the 3 wells blend in before they hit to the treatment plant. Chlorinated water will activate with the manganese and the iron that come out of 7, which will go through the bag filters faster. Bag filters are averaging about 4 to 5 weeks at this point. It's not a huge expense, but does cost every single time we change them out $250. Cost of doing business. Changing that, it could be daily, it could go down to a week, you don't know. And then if you bypass and or whatever else that goes through it, you're adding chlorine and whatnot in through the GAC, which may affect the life of the GAC and make it not last as long. But that said, is we have a good lifespan on our 2 beds as it is, which, because our volume of water going through that system isn't significant. So it's not as simple as just throwing it in, so we're probably gonna have to ask this is probably the one, if we're gonna go out there and explore other firms, we do it on the 4 log, where we're not running afoul of DEP. This is, the idea of 4 log is so if and when, God forbid, it hits, we're not having everybody into a panic.
Okay.
It just want to get ahead of it just in case. And also, with the budget the way it is and everything else tight, is we don't have a lot of extra to be able to move anything else around, or just say, oh, well, we have a spend off at the end of the year. This is something that could, if we get to it, it could, if I remember the change order for just putting the line in during the construction was 110, 120, which I think they were trying to get over on us because they really didn't want, they weren't making it worth their while coming in. We may be able to do some of it in-house or parts it out to different contractors as we do get a little bit better bidding. But that said, I don't think it's gonna be a cheap project, but nowhere near as much as the treatment plant. Nothing like that. But we're still probably looking at all in over 100, changing a couple of analyzers and whatnot. But we do have a lot of stuff in place from when we rehabbed one, previous to knowing that PFAS was coming, so we never demoed that room. That room is ready to actually go into the system.
The chemicals,
Go to
yeah.
work right up top.
So, okay, so, all right. So you're saying that that would be the one to
Yeah, if you guys,
try the,
if the board wants to explore other firms or whatever else, I would do it on that one. I wouldn't do it on the one that we could run afoul with DEP.
What do you think the engineering is worth on that?
What was that?
What do you think the engineering is worth on that?
4 lug?
I don't
I
know.
don't,
The whole project's 100,000, you're guessing?
It's that was just on them, on the change order, digging and putting it in. There's gonna be some SCADA involved in it,
Probably close to 150 or maybe 2.
so
I don't think it-
I don't really wanna put a price to it.
No, I'm
Because,
trying to think what the engineering.
with the 4 log, there's a possibility we can do some of the work ourselves.
possibly.
Some, the digging and all of that, we can do, it's in our own backyard.
Even if we don't, we could hope to find a sole proprietor that isn't gonna be under the prevailing wage, or we can get some better quotes.
Yep.
Then
I know the quotes were very high coming from, as a change order to the big contract.
From my understanding,
The-
that Toledo didn't, the subcontractor really didn't wanna remobilize and come out, but for that amount of money, they were absolutely willing to come back out and do it.
Oh, of course,
Yeah, so.
of course. So it's, there are ways where 4 log we can save, but it's gotta be engineered and all of that still, so.
And also, this is, we don't have to jump right into it because we have another MPA test next week to see the chances of surface water influence. And if that comes back, we've been okay so far. We're not in a huge concern area, but we're not completely in the clear, like what they say, oh, there's 0 chance. If that comes back, that changes everything also.
Yeah,
Okay, and if we have
we'll
to-
isolate those wells too.
If we have to shut down 8 temporarily again, like we had one shut down for years, how will that affect our system?
Depends on what the weather is and demand.
During the winter, no effect.
No effect in the winter. That's why we're moving right now.
The summer would be, you'd have to manage it.
Okay,
If it was that summer that we had doing the tank project and that drought, where it hit us in the middle of July, we could be in trouble, but that said is, we've gotten, with the tank rehab, I estimated we gained another 25 million, that was leaking about 25 million gallons of water a year up there that we were treating and spending money into. So we went from, on the annual statistical survey, from over 200 million gallons pumped from the stations down to like 176 or so. And you can do a give or take just
do the
because of
math,
the
yeah.
usage in the summer, and you never know what, but
Okay.
there was a significant leak up there.
Don't forget coliform bacteria, we monitor every month, so we know what that station's
Yeah.
acting up or not.
Okay.
For a month.
all right, so. Personally, I tend to agree with Bob that we need to explore, but I don't think, I agree with Brian, I don't think that the pressure study is the right place to start. That's my opinion, but anybody else has anything to add, or if there's a motion to be put out, that would be, that's where we're at. But keep exploring that 4 log.
So which item on the agenda are we on?
Well, we're between 8 and 9.
So,
Four log removal is gonna most likely have to happen at some point. It may not.
That's the board's pleasure. It's not a must, but it's a safety vest, the
so
call it.
then, I think I would approach it this way. I think we would put engineering services out to bid for 4-log, because then we have no commitment there. We can see, you know, the engineering comes back and it's something that's well out of our price range. We don't have to necessarily act on it.
Yeah.
But item number 8, with the pressure in the Bates Road area, that's something we do
That is,
act.
yeah. That's something that's been out there for a long, long time. So,
So I'll make the motion that we accept the tie and bond proposal for the Bates Road area pressure issue
that's at 40.
at $45,000.
Yes, 45,000. Okay, motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Okay.
I mentioned the other thing.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
She knows our staffing problems too.
Okay.
that we have, so-
All right. So,
Do you want a motion for the 4-log? Do we need one?
I don't think you do.
we don't really need one at this point, do we? I don't think so.
Until you start acting a plan on it.
We could go get bids and present them.
But we'd have to put something, for that, we'd have to draw something up of what we're requesting the bids on.
Well, that was my point earlier, yeah, you have to have
Well,
some level
they
of
can-
scope to.
They can put that together.
Yeah, otherwise you're not comparing apples to apples, and it becomes a nightmare trying to compare bids.
The nice part is that this is the 2 newer plants that we have, so we have recent, correct engineering plans that we can hand them and say, this is what we need, and from here to here, without some of
These
these old.
proposals from them for pricing and everything, what we give them, and
Okay. So put together a good scope for that project, for what's needed there. Vehicle repairs, what was that about? Oh, just happened to notice, well, I about choked when I saw the vouchers for the repairs on the box truck. But I happened to notice we sent one of our vehicles out to Oxford.
Jay's Automotive, the sewer truck went out there. It had all rusted out brake lines, 2 calipers that were frozen, and it had to go through a smoke test, which only certain people can do.
Okay.
So that, to get a sticker. So that's been taken care of. Let me give history on the box truck. So that year box truck is 2011, okay? That was the year, I think that 2012, where the 6.7 liter motor had failed on about 1 million trucks of Ford. They did nothing about it. Even Mr. Kicker's truck down here was the same model as ours. He ended up getting a new engine on his. The truck got stuck on Tufts Hill in the middle of the heavy traffic, coming back from the pressure test, the pressure work up at Dresser Hill. So the object of the game was to get that truck out of there. We were able to roll it backwards down so that Precision could come at least tow it, and he was reluctant to tow it because of the weight of the truck. So he went only as far as, he was going to go as far as Webster, but we'd have to get a bigger tow truck. My plan was, I called Dudley Diesel first and talked to the owner up there, who's very versed in that. He says, it could be a number of things that's wrong with it because we couldn't even get a peep out of it. It just shut down.
Okay.
Went into hydrolock. So anyway, make a long story short, went to Precision, he suggested you definitely want to take it to Ford because first they got to diagnose it and they have special equipment to do it for their trucks. Took them about a week and a half. Everybody else was booked up anyway. Week and a half, they diagnosed it. They said the truck hydrolocked. Later on, a piston actually blew up in the motor. So they said, we're going to get you a motor, brand new motor right off the warehouse, which they happen to have. New revamped 6.7 liter that Ford revamped in the next coming years with no problems. It has a 3-year warranty, and they did it and did the air system in and out, which they had to revamp. for $19,000, which I thought was a great deal because everybody was getting in the 22, 23,000 range, even revamped motors, which you'd get the same motor anyway, either way, if you revamped it. That's no good. So now I think we're getting another 10 years out of that truck.
Okay, I just about choked when I saw the cost.
Yeah, we go
It is
between-
what it is, I understand that. But I was just wondering why, you know, what the story was with sending a vehicle out to Oxford, out to another new mechanic.
We've used Jay's before for stuff, and they've done a pretty good job. They're pretty
Okay.
well equipped to a point, but I think we try to
All right, you
diversify
gotta
it.
keep,
What, line item we pay that out?
We had taken out of the we had some money in the GAC account, I think we were gonna pull from.
For what?
Or capital.
for the
Capital.
capital,
Yeah.
For the which one?
for the box truck.
Box truck, yeah.
Capital.
Capital, okay. All right. New locks,
Already done.
The only things that we really have to do is some of the
Keyways.
handle locks
Yeah, keyways.
need to be, we don't want to just change the key. They're beat.
the whole doorknob,
Yeah.
The whole doorknob.
door handle has to
The
be.
guy down here is a little bit shady. We try to get somebody who's reliable to do it for us all at one swoop, but
I'll offer my services if you want me to go around and take a look, and I can tell you what you need.
you're hired.
Yeah.
Prevailing wage or regular?
I'm gonna do it at the same thing they pay me to sit here.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's what I do for a living, so I can take a look.
Just, some of it busted, the doors slammed and they formed, and some of the actual doors at Station 6, the old one, it doesn't sit right, so it just, we've had the gentleman out in Webster try to come down a couple of times, he just changes the mechanism, and a year later, the lock is shot, the striker is off somewhat, so.
I could take a look. Do we have, does the town have a master key system?
No.
No. Does
Yes.
the department?
Dennis used to have a master key system, but they
Yes.
don't have it anymore.
Yes, they still do.
Oh, actually,
What,
they
the
do.
town hall?
Yes.
Yeah,
Hey, everything's on a, yeah, they
No,
do.
but they do have a master key.
They do have a master key, that's right, they do have a master
Yeah.
key system, but
the town
they're not
hall.
using it anymore.
Yes, they still,
The keys still work?
not the old keys, there are new keys. There
Oh.
are new master keys,
For
yes.
regular lock sets or for padlocks or what are the?
For here, for
Oh,
for
for
every
here,
door
yeah,
on the
okay.
town hall
One
and
thing
every lock.
We could look at doing, there'd be a cost to it, so we'd have to budget this out, but is get the entire department on a registered master system. Then you can get all your padlocks, door, everything can be on that system with registered keys that can't be duplicated
Right.
outside of who issues the registered keys, so that you can have control over who has the keys, and just knowing the liability we have with, you know, municipal drinking water.
Yeah.
Might be prudent to
It
look
wasn't
at that.
significant buying the padlocks, they weren't cheap, but when it came down to it, after we talked about it, we have 40 to 50, and all those keys have been out there for generations.
Right.
So it was time, they were failing and.
Sewer and water,
So-
everything's been done.
So you're controlling where those keys go?
Yep.
That, and also, the more times you copy a key, the more times it's not likely to work.
Correct.
Yeah.
We ran into that a couple times.
Okay,
How
so
many keys are made?
there was
How many
one,
keys are made?
They come two to a
Two
lock.
to the lock.
two to
I
a
have
lock,
all.
so there's 40 locks, is 80 keys. But you have all those keys?
The only one that outside the department who has it is
National Grid.
Dresser Hill, because the fire department has their communications center inside of the fencing up there.
So the fire department has
So,
a
yeah.
copy of that.
So, it's not that big a deal.
And who did you say?
National Grid.
National, and they typically, yeah, they'll be able to get in and read the meters. They haven't changed out to the wireless yet on
Correct.
a couple of the stations.
Okay. So that's been done, okay, good.
Can I suggest we get the keys in here and locked up? Just
They're locked at the
Lock
treatment plant,
Treatment plant.
And they're locked up in the treatment
locked
plant?
up where in the treatment plant?
inside the,
Are they hanging on a board or?
No.
no. The only people who have the code to get in there are licensed Dudley employees who can get into the treatment area.
But do they need to get in there?
Yeah.
Yes?
The extra keys?
Everybody here already has keys. They don't have the keys to the padlocks.
I understand that. but do they need a second key? I don't understand why they need.
The only reason you get a second key, if you break one in a lock or
I
something crazy
understand,
thing like
but
that.
it's devil's advocate. We get an employee that,
Oh, I see what you're saying, takes a key that doesn't, just to do something nefarious after they leave.
yeah, yes,
Everybody gets one key issued and then.
right, but if they have access to the extra keys, it doesn't
No,
make,
Brian,
But
No, the extra keys are all locked up.
it wouldn't matter anyways, because these are just master lock keys. They can go down to Aubuchon's and copy them. They can as we stand right now, all our keys, we can go down and copy it.
Which is my point, that
yes,
we
okay.
should get,
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, okay.
it'd be more concerning if, like when Justin suggested, is if we have a master key and a plan and everything else, that they can't be copied, that we could, if we knew that there was a problem, we could say, hey, Joe can't go, he's off the list, and he goes down and copy the keys, versus.
That's where the electronic
No.
fobs are nice.
Yeah.
The fobs are, or
And that's why
keycards.
they're kept in the treatment plant, because if they're looking for the keys, I'm more concerned if they're actually in that area and they have bad intentions, they can do more damage.
They can do
than-
more damage than getting a hold of a key, yes. Okay. All right, so good, at least that part of it is taken care of, and we'll keep exploring the possibilities of better security and a master key system. The water shut-off policy. We've been looking at reinvigorating the policy for shutting off for non-payment. And once we started moving forward, it was found that there were some issues with the policy as it sat. So we have in front of us a copy of the policy with some changes in red.
yeah, I get it.
And they've been discussed before, but
I have one question
alrighty.
on the appeal. Is that a public meeting? Is that an executive? How does that work? Is that?
I think it's open meeting.
I think
everything's open meeting.
It's an open meeting, so they're gonna have to appeal in public.
Correct.
Do we need to say that in this?
Well, it's a hearing in front of the Board of Water Sewer Commissioners, and anytime water sewer, it's a given that anytime.
It's a public meeting, so.
Yeah, anytime you meet, it's a public.
There's only,
meeting.
6 conditions for
There's very specific
very
reasons
very
for-
specific, and yeah, it would never be a private meeting.
Yeah, that was the only thing that I noticed that was.
No.
Another thing that I did notice that I didn't, is it says that an orange shut-off door hanger would be put, and then a green shut-off door hanger, and I think that that's not, we don't have the door hangers, we were just gonna be tagging with different colored paper. So I don't know if that needs to be,
What was the significance of the colors? Did it mean something, or was it
I
just?
don't know why we just
think
had
it-
usually some kind of brighter colored thing, so they see the thing in the door. And
I think it was just so that we would know orange is first tagging, green is second tagging.
It's more for us than,
So I would like to just change it from door hanging to just colored, will be tagged with colored paper.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, if there was no significance of the color to the ratepayer, then that's just on us for administrative work.
Looking for a motion to adopt this?
yeah, there's a question of the end there. Do we want to add a charge to the bill for, basically for entering into this process? If someone enters into this process to cover the cost of
Time.
mailing and tagging.
Right, time, basically.
It's time.
Because the only way you're getting the $25 back is if you shut them off. The only time you're getting $50 back is if you shut them off and then turn them back on. For this whole process, you're not, there's no,
Or is that just the cost of doing business?
but there's no, so if, I'll just use The treasurer collector's office, if they don't pay the bill on time, they send a demand notice with a $20 fee.
Okay, yeah.
So this is something that you want to enter into. There should be a cost associated to cover the additional work. This isn't just normal scope of work. Now, this is sending out the guys three times.
So the people who are paying their bills on time and
Aren't footing the bill.
footing the bill for collection process.
You know,
What, each demand from the
it's
treasurer
$20.
collector is $20.
I mean, because if,
Costs us more than $20 to send the guys out each time. too.
No.
so, you know, they're gonna be going out, the thing is they're gonna be going out multiple times, but they'll be hitting several houses at multiple times.
So in
Because,
an hour's time, they may hit 5, 6, 7, 8 houses.
well, I'll just give you, there's like 200 accounts roughly. So if I send out 200 notices in 30 days, they're gonna have 200 houses to tag. If, let's say that, I'm just saying nobody pays.
Yeah.
And then, in the next, bear with me, hold on.
Yep, first tagging, second tagging.
If the account remains delinquent 7 days prior to the termination services. So then 7 days later, they'd be going out again. And hopefully not 200, hopefully we're down to 198.
50. Hopefully, we're down to like 50.
Right, so do you, and then the next thing is shutting off.
The painting, yeah.
Well, once they see that painting, that's usually a big indicator to them that.
But you've still been out
Three times.
three times, and I've sat and sent out 200 letters.
Yeah, so you have your time,
Your time, that's what I'm saying, $20, I don't think is gonna cover.
I think it needs to be like $100.
Yeah.
And I think what it is that you need to, I think it's a re-education to people because they're used to letting it lean onto their real estate. Because I can tell you when I look at the names year after year, I can go back and
Yeah.
see the past 3 years of who's been leaned. It's the majority of the same people who don't pay their water sewer bill and just allow it to be leaned to their real estate. Because nothing's gonna happen. So I think it's re-educating and saying, guess what, something is going to happen.
Okay.
This is not the way.
We can't continue to do business this way because the people that are actually,
No, and we are
Paying on
finding
time
that
and
it's
everything.
detrimental. Am I correct, Brian?
Yes. With the time it's gonna take, it's gonna be significant for us to not be able to get anything else done or oversee anything, and with the limited manpower that we have right now, it's gonna put a dent in us during the week. To get the 200 done, you're at least losing 2 guys for the day. They're done.
At least,
At least for the day, if not 2, you know, for,
maybe a couple, that's a lot.
a couple days, and then trying to turn them off and everything else. But having this money out there, we just had to do the state recap, and so they could set the tax rate, and trying to figure out where our money is, and actually learning Vadar a little bit better too, is what it shows. It was trying to justify our rates and our budget to the state when there's $500,000 missing from either late and or leaned is significant when we're talking, 20% of our budget.
So do we wanna set a fee for each time they go out?
Or I would set, I think if we just set a standard fee.
if you enter into the
you enter
collection
into
process,
this-
$50
If you're on that list and we have to go to deal with you in any way, that should be a
It's gonna
set
be
fee.
for,
Yeah.
time and everything, there's gonna be,
It's gonna be significantly noticeable in the hidden manpower for the first time we'll implement this. But as this goes on, people will know that we're gonna shut them off, we're gonna be doing every quarter and everything else, so it won't be so detrimental to our work hours, but it's still gonna cost us time and effort. We won't lose 2 guys for the whole entire day. One guy will be going out for the half day, hey, tag these, or in your travels, I have 5 of them for this quarter. hopefully we're down, you know, people start learning, and it's not so significant.
The
So
hit will be in the beginning.
you want to make sure we're compensated for our time and everything else that we have to put into it, because you don't want the other users to pay for it. But you don't want to be completely and utterly heavy-handed at the same time, because
Right.
it's going to be a burden on us the initial time
I
we
think
do
20
it.
is too low, but
So-
I think 100 might be a little high.
I like that. What is yours?
but-
150.
You wanna make that motion, or
I'll make a motion that we make that $100.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Make sure 100's correct. You've got hourly wage, you've got gas.
Well, that's
you've
it. When
got
you start
warranty
figuring in
on
all
your
the time and
trucks,
stuff,
You've
it's-
got all these
You can always
other
up
things
it.
before throwing just 100 out. If you throw 50 out, is it enough? Is 100 too much? I mean, we're sitting here evaluating it without having all the proper information in front of us. What are you spending gas a day? What happens if we just have to go out once, but you're going out 4 times? You take it as one customer. What is that one customer costing you? And then you divide that by the amount of delinquents. And next thing you know, we could be at 200. So why go into a business deal losing money?
Yeah.
Take a week, let's look at the bills, see what it is, make it on one customer, and go from there.
I can tell you
I
there's,
think throwing a number across the table is too short.
there's 209 as it was
Yeah.
delinquent accounts
Yeah.
right now. There could be more by the time we do this again.
Unfortunately, you can't really come up with an exact time. I mean,
You can't.
Some
But
of
we
them,
can
if it's
take an
frozen.
average from home base to a distance, right? But we know where the people are that are the delinquents, and you say, you know, over time, you've had a very consistent
yeah.
amount of delinquents.
Oh, yeah.
What's that mileage? What's that average?
I can tell you that it goes as, I'm just using streets. It goes as far as River, because I think that's our.
That's the end of our,
railroad
that's the
over that
railroad,
way,
that's the end of our system.
all the way over. There is points all throughout the town.
Oh, I mean, you can't,
it's- I
you
can-
can't
I
say
can
that
tell you
it's
it's
one
all
neighborhood or anything like that.
We could pass this at 100 and come up with a better information and say, look, we have to adjust it up or down.
I would think we put it through and then we can always modify it at any meeting.
Yeah.
I just think we should look at it in a full scope.
Right, you're right.
Do you want me to use the standard, like, mileage reimbursement? What's it, like 67?
Yeah, it's like 67.2 right
Yeah.
now, so.
Use something like that?
Yeah,
okay.
something like that, you know, you're not overshooting anything above and beyond what the state is legally
Yeah.
throwing out there for a mileage rate.
Well, we'd have to add those manpower. to
You add
that.
the manpower, you add the administrative,
I can tell you the
got-
gas.
there's little bits and pieces of
Okay.
percentages all along the line that have to go into that hourly wage, let's say.
Yeah.
Motion on the floor, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion at 100. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, and take a look at what the costs are, what the actual costs are, and then see, we can adjust that if we have to.
Well,
We can- we
it
can
also
start there.
costs us in things we can't do. So you have to,
Yeah,
Right.
in little things, like, if I'm the one who has to run out all day long and I can't man the treatment plant, I'm not on top of a couple of things, I'm more likely to get a call out later on because I didn't catch it because I wasn't in there, or Luke, you know.
Yep.
You know, there's some
What's
other.
the lost time for you to do this?
okay, yep.
it-
So,
Just
Mr. Chairman, can we make this a agenda item for next month so that we can revisit that number if we have more
absolutely,
information?
Anticipate, you know, it's-
yep.
I'd like to get this started. We're reading again, so I was trying to do it,
Right.
Yeah.
You're
you know, prior to.
meeting again in January, so.
Yeah, so I'm
January
trying to.
2nd.
At least you have some teeth behind it now.
Right, so I appreciate
Right,
that,
right.
thank you.
We're not losing
Oh,
any
that,
direct
we,
costs
we,
of
we,
$100, so.
the vote was for the $100 fee. But the,
Vote for the other changes.
fine, but what about the other changes? For the policy has changed. Look for a motion to adopt the policy as changed, or
As amended.
as amended, yes. It's already been adopted, but to amend the policy. So I need a motion to amend the policy as noted.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll get that off, get that going. Okay, sewer positions. We had the sewer position of assistant plant operator. I guess we had to make a decision as to how we were going to, we have 2 employees in sewer. What, how do we want to allocate those? We have 3 position levels in that department. We've got an assistant plant operator, we've got a sewer operator, and then we've got a laborer. The laborer is
You, technically, the
water
name,
and
the-
sewer.
the names of them that will come out of this next is you have sewer main operator, sewer collections operator, and then I believe you guys put in just a general water sewer laborer.
a laborer, yeah.
So you have
Split between the two.
split between the two.
So, you know, we've talked, you know, over the months about eliminating the assistant plant operator, which I think has been changed over to main operator,
Sewer
you-
main operator.
sewer main operator.
You always had main
You only had
operator.
the main operator.
You had the main operator. The other one was called assistant,
Yep.
and they're just being called a collections operator now, is what you asked for.
All right, so is there any need to take any action?
If you want the next hire to be a certain position, you can make that decision, whether you're a laborer or assistant operator.
No, it's just a sewer collections
Sewer
operator.
collections operator.
Whatever.
Just so that I
Because
get it
when,
right.
if it's posted someday or whatever, you might want to just define how you want to.
So, once that's, there will probably be the need to hire a person there. So what, we need to determine what level we want to hire at.
I guess I would want to know when we're actually hiring, what the needs of the department are before we
Yeah.
make that decision. I think
Can we get that information for next month?
What would you like to know?
Start with the job
What the need is, what the actual need is for that department.
You have the job descriptions. They've been
Yep,
sent
we have the
several
job
times.
descriptions.
Yep.
But we need to know from a operations standpoint.
Same thing when we were requiring for the licenses for the water side.
But what we need to know is at what level do we need to have that department manned? So if you can come up with that.
I can tell you right now, just be the main operator, and then whatever you want to put underneath that, assistant or laborer, it doesn't really matter. The jobs are pretty much,
Well, okay. So. All right. I don't know.
Do we need a decision on that tonight?
No, we don't. But I just want to be able to, we've been talking about making changes with that department. I just want to make sure it's on the, we've got it firmed up before we hire anybody.
Mr. Chair, I'd make just a recommendation, you don't have to act on it, but I would say, keep the main operator and an assistant, so if we have a future, we want to put a third as a laborer, it will jive a little better, or a training position for somebody, if somebody's moving on. The laborer would be the training, like I have for the previous guy, was a laborer in
Okay.
training, so that's
Do we
kind
need a
of.
main operator?
Huh?
Do we need a main operator?
Title sounds good. I mean,
That's.
title's gonna cost us more money.
That's exactly right. We need to know what the needs are of that department, not just, keeping titles because we've always had the title. Just what are the needs of that department? It's a collection system. What do we need to have for day-to-day personnel in that department? Okay, budget review. We've got the budgets in front of us. Are these as of today, or?
As of today.
Okay, so we're at
get 'em?
roughly 40%.
Did you get it from the clock?
So we're roughly 40%, and the lines that were out of line are still out of line, so.
No new ones, though, just the
Nothing,
same.
nothing is out of, doesn't look like anything's out of line anywhere. We've spent out leak detection?
Yes.
Stand by and overtime, and we're a little bit high, but not too crazy. Okay. And the revenue report on the front page. And we're still looking at $156,000 in liens. And what's the billing, where are we on the billing cycle?
The bills are due on the 12th.
Okay, so they're coming in now, so that'll, and this is as of today as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're still got some, but that's current. It's outstanding but current. So, all right. Any questions on the budget report? Sampling, what's that?
That's from last month.
That's from last month?
I thought it was still supposed to be on here. But you had asked for it to be on again.
I think there
Did
was
I?
some
'Cause it was-
discussion as to, he was asking about
And I-
courier services and.
Right.
Oh, yes.
I sent you the information that you requested.
Okay.
Regarding the 2 labs and what their sampling procedures are.
That's right, they'll pick up.
Yep.
Okay. So we have, both of our labs will pick up samples on a daily basis, just with a, what do they need?
They
just
both
need to be called.
advised that they'd like a 24-hour notice, but RI Analytical is through here every day at noon time, and Alpha said that they're by here quite a bit. It's not usually a problem.
Okay. So we have to determine if that's something we want to move to.
I think we should try it, Mr. Chairman. Right, not gonna cost us anything.
Okay. So, do we need to put that in a motion, or do we need to just advise? Start trying to use them to pick up samples rather than sending folks out to deliver them. What's it, Hudson? Where's RI from?
Hudson.
Hudson.
RI's in Hudson, then where's Pace from? The other one? Alpha.
It's Pace. It's,
Northborough or
Westboro.
yeah. I was
Westboro,
gonna
okay,
say
so they're both out in the same,
boroughs.
they're both in the same direct,
Yeah.
okay.
I just think the guys being shorthanded as it is, relieve them a little bit.
Mhm. Okay. So start trying to use that for samples, to have the samples picked up rather than running them out.
Do you need to call them to stop?
You just have to let them know. Just call when you're gonna have a sample and they'll come and pick it up. Yep.
Okay.
There's certain days you usually have them ready?
Days variate, times variate. We don't know when we're gonna be able to do that, so that's why I tried to tell you, but we'll try.
Okay. Water fees, yeah, that's just hanging out there. Superintendent's report.
Can I just bring up something
go
on
ahead.
old business? Sorry, it's about the dump truck.
Yeah,
It did go out for bid.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is the last day.
okay,
There is a bid of 10,200 on it right now. The reserve is at 15,000,
Okay,
so I'm just letting you know.
So we didn't hit the reserve.
we haven't yet.
Not yet.
And tomorrow's the last day?
Tomorrow is the last day.
Okay.
And,
We'll get the flood of bids tomorrow, and
yeah, tomorrow morning,
somebody's gonna give us 50 grand for it.
let's hope so.
I don't think it's like eBay shilling, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, we can hope, right? But all right, good. Thank you for keeping us informed on that, and for making it happen. Superintendent's report.
You guys have probably read it, but I wanted you to pay attention more on the sewer side of this one here. Well, first of all, the jet is back, it's running perfect, everything's been done to it, and now we're gonna get another 10 years out of that. So I don't think we're gonna need jet. However,
How much was that? Okay.
you have the bill came to you when I was 13, 14? I don't remember.
I don't think I've seen the bill yet.
He said he was sending it, I hope he didn't send it. I think they've been using water sewer, some of the people, instead of
It's
sewer.
still, water sewer will still go to sewer water, but I haven't
I'll call him
seen
tomorrow and
it.
see if he
Yeah,
can
I haven't
send
seen
it.
a bill.
He's,
Right, Brian? You didn't, I don't,
I don't remember signing anything.
no, I haven't seen anything.
It's gonna be around the 13, 14,000 range or something with all the stuff they did, but I gotta call him. Anyway, we got it back in time. As I explained back many times, there's been problems in this riverbed line from Oxford Ave down to the plant, or down to at least West Main, down by the siphon. It has never been really done, okay? So we had gone down there to make the attempt once, and we had to call in Webster. This is when the jetter broke. They at least did the siphon for us, and then they broke their jetter. So we were going down there, getting ready to rejet again once the unit came back, and it just did. We found that somebody had plugged one of the manholes with bricks, debris, cement, pretty bad, where actually the line was backing up. We called in Slim.
Somebody lifted the cover and filled
Yeah,
it full of crap.
apparently somebody hit it with the brush mower in there, made a gap in it, so they could just pick up the manhole with two people. So they can't do it now. We put a big cement block on it, but we went down, and it was about, 10 feet down. We called in Slim Sewer for their vac truck and their tripod and everything, so we were able to lower the guy down in a Tyvek suit to help bring material up, clean it up. When we cleaned it up, not only did when we jetted, we were able to jet the area down, and not only did we get that out, but we had blockages of grease buildup so bad that luckily we had the 4-inch there to suck it up. It didn't get to the siphon. So right now that line is pretty clean, the siphon's good. They're supposed to camera there this past Monday, which they didn't do. I don't know, I haven't heard anybody say they weren't gonna come, but they gave a notice that they were coming. We were trying to prepare for them to assist them, the tie and bond for the projects in the infiltration. They're gonna camera that line and see how bad it is going down. I'm waiting to hear from them still. I maybe suspect the cold weather prevented them from coming. So anyway, so at least that line is done. The jetting that we had to do is done. The station wet wells are done. Everything that has been neglected is now done, and we're okay right now. I'll use that lightly.
So the jetter at this point, should be winterized and...
It's already been winterized, put away for now. The only thing I have to do down in the springtime is a section of the hose has to be replaced. It's frayed. We just have to get a new section in there. It's about a 500-foot hose, so it's about 100 feet of it's been damaged. Not from previous things, we just keep using it, but it's getting worse, so we have to make sure we do it up. Otherwise, it's running great. So, everything else on the report, unless you have questions or anything, it's pretty straightforward stuff.
Okay.
How much was the repair to the box truck?
19,000 and some change. 3-year warranty on the motor, brand new, upgraded 6.7 liter. It's running great too. It's in there only tomorrow for a thermostat issue because it's not jiving right with the new motor. So I want to see if they can correct that. That's it.
Okay. Board comments. Jen?
No, thank you.
Sean?
No, thanks.
Good.
Tom?
Good.
Oh, Jen did a great job of Mrs. Santa Claus sitting 4 hours up on the turntable of a ladder truck going around town, freezing herself. And only one person bailed out, and they all stayed up.
Okay, well, that's, yeah. All right, Brian, anything? Anything further? Okay. All right,
And a motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.